Hello, everyone. It looks like we're doing another one of these diddly-dum-de-doo-doo, diddly-dum-de-doo-doo. Today, I'm going to be doing half and half. It's going to start out as a public one, and then it's going to go private, and it's just going to be my Patreon people. So if you want to be one of those Patreon people or have to learn how to point in directions, then you want to follow this. Yeah, you need to follow this banner and go over to patreon.com/DemonTomatoDave. Today's stream will continue on for all tiers. And then future ones will be for there's a streaming tier, but it's higher up on the list, so I thought I'd start a bit more inclusive. And of course, you can see what else is there if you go for the songs tier, for instance. You'll be able to hear a lot of the extended versions of songs that you might have heard me do before, like the theme from the Dark World and my Sonic song and things like that. But for now, what I'm going to do to begin with, this is my... Oh, if you haven't seen these before, this is my NaNoWriMo stream. I've only done 2 so far. This is the 3rd. I'm writing a story. And at this stage, you probably don't know what story that is. So I'm going to remedy that. I'm going to read it to you. Today's stream begins as a sort of audiobook of what I've got so far. This is me just sort of arranging it on my screens. There we are. Oh, no, we're not. Nope, still not. Still not. This is me battling Windows automatic thingy where it, snap function. I'm trying not to activate that so that I can arrange this right at the edge so that I can see it the most easily and look at the camera as well. Not that I'm going to be pretending I'm not reading off the screen, because I am. So here's the story. This is what we've got so far. Let me just check that all my links are correct, because I've posted this on Twitter and on the Patreon. So okay, let's see if the Twitter link is correct. Yes, seems to be. Jolly good. Which implies that the Patreon post link will be correct. Yep. All right then. Yeah, quite right. Yeah, well, the thing is, I'd like to actually do a lot of these public, but I owe it to my Patreon people, because I'm not really going to have much chance to do a lot of other streams for them this month, and some of them have signed up to streamy tiers, so, they get exclusive NaNoWriMo videos. So here's how the story goes so far. Consider this an audiobook, but it hasn't actually been written yet, so it's an audiobook of a work in progress. Here's the entire story, thus far written. Shapes moved in the smoke. I'm doing my audiobook voice a little bit. Shapes moved. I don't do a Martin Jarvis impression. I wish I did for such occasions as this. Shapes moved in the smoke. The outline of a shoulder, a hollow impression of a face. Straw grunted and repositioned a couple of the candles in the inner ring, keeping her eyes fixed on the smoke to appraise the result. The apparition was certainly clearer now. She could even make out places where the material of his jacket was frayed as it moved in the faint violet glow from the candles. You can see that little pause after the word faint. That wasn't deliberate. That's me audiobook skills. Do you know I do audiobooks? I've done a couple. Well, actually, whoops. I've done one, and then there's another one currently being edited, ready to go out. Straw grunted and repositioned a couple of the candles in the inner ring, keeping her eyes fixed on the smoke to appraise the result. The apparition was certainly clearer now. She could even make out places where the material of his jacket was frayed as it moved in the faint violet glow from the candles. "Speak," she instructed. It opened its mouth and said something, but the voice was like a distant echo. She tutted. Not yet, right. Stay put, you won't be able to get past the candles, she said, kneeling to fuss with the positioning of the outer ring, which looked all wrong now she'd fixed the inner one. She picked up one of the fatter, blacker candles and turned it over, examining the runes chipped into the side. With a fingernail, she straightened off one of the edges before putting the candle back in place. People think police work gets done just by magic, she said. They reckon we just wave a magic wand and the case gets solved. Look at me here. I didn't need to be kneeling on stone floors today. Having widened one side of the outer ring a little, she twisted a couple of the candles so the runes lined up. The flameless, supernatural light burning at their tips crackled, and the ghost came into clearer focus. Much better. It's a myth. Clean-up are often supplied with a couple of low-level ones from the locker, because I don't know if you've ever tried getting bloodstains out of the wooden flooring, but it isn't fun. No, the bulk of detective work happens up here. And note that I just tapped my head, and not anybody else's, because my head, in particular, that's important here. Right, let's have a look here. The spirit looked to be on the later end of his 40s, with a well-trimmed beard and powerful arms. She suppressed a laugh. The deceased had actually been 68 when he died and hadn't ever quite mastered a razor from what she'd seen, but you couldn't blame someone for the way they saw themselves. Speak, she said again. I'm just saying, said the ghost, audibly this time. I don't know what help you think I can be. You're going to tell me everything you know about the transportation of a quite significant number of coins from the home of a Mr. Nigel Farrell via wagon about a month ago. You'll be telling me why we discovered that wagon in a ditch down the side of Winder's Patch, and you do know something, because your corpse was recovered from that same ditch. If you decide not to talk, I'm going to have to find a way to put you under arrest for obstructing the course of justice, even if it means digging a binding gem out of storage. Clear? The ghost shrugged. Absolutely, it was the Shrikes. Right, said Straw. Good. Good start. The idea was that I'd show up with my wagon at a certain time, park it under a certain window, and have a good amount of cloth at the ready, preferably carried on my shoulder. They told me that goods would be thrown from the window into the wagon, at which point I'd cover them with the cloths and take off in the direction of Winders. I'd be met at the Broxbury end by another bloke with another wagon, given my payment, and sent on my way. They told you that, did they? They did. And do you often listen to what criminals tell you? No, first time. You should understand, Detective. I have a son who'll want sending off to be educated for before long. And a barrowman's wage isn't going to reach to that any time soon. I must have moaned too loudly too often, because somehow my name got as far as the Shrikes, and they off... Yes, all right, Straw interrupted. Couldn't possibly care about that. What I want is names. Who employed you, who was going to pay you, and who attacked you on Winder's Patch? Nobody attacked me, the ghost laughed. It was my own stupid fault I ended up in that ditch. I must have been panicking more than I thought. Went over a rock. As for names... You must have dealt with the Shrikes before. They don't give out their names freely. Not as a rule, but you have to hope, don't you? Are you sure none of them mentioned a name at all? Sorry. Can I ask, what am I doing here exactly? Answering questions. No, I mean, here. I gather I died. Under my wagon, if I'm remembering right. So what's this, a seance? Something like. And not one that'll last very long, so I have to press you. Is there anything you can tell me? With the Shrikes, we need as many leads as we can get. Soon as you think you've got a handle on them, they disappear again. The ghost stuck out his lip as he thought. Well, like I say, they've got a man in Broxbury with a cart. Or they did have. Shouldn't think he'll still be there. How long have I been out? A month. Oof. How's Helen? She doing all right? I don't know. Stick to the subject, please. That's it. I was meeting someone, and for all I know, he was some other underpaid wretch like myself. I just had instructions, and that's it. I'm not trying to keep anything from you. That's honestly all I've got. I wish I knew more. I'd be perfectly willing to spill the beans. The Shrikes can't hurt me anymore. And delete an errant I there. And they never knew anything about my family. But I really don't have anything for you. Sorry. Straw swore under her breath. All right. Well. Thank you, Mr. Ludgezall. I have to inform you at this time that a second raising probably wouldn't work. This is your last chance to get anything off your chest that needs saying. The ghost looked around, thinking. Not really very much to say. He laughed. You'd think I'd be full of last words, wouldn't you? We all imagine what we'd like our last words to be. I suppose I ought to say something about my son. How I'd like Helen to raise him, that sort of thing. Drawing a blank, though. How come I don't feel worse about this? That's normal. Everything connecting you to the living world has conclusively ended. You've left all your earthly cares behind. No need to feel guilty about it. Well, I don't, which I suppose is a plus. Don't feel anything at all. There were a few moments of awkward silence. So is that it then? The ghost asked. Afraid so, Straw said, and began snuffing out the candles. That was day 1. Now, day 2 was not that successful of a day. I did a very little bit of writing, mostly editing of what I'd sort of noted down at the end of the previous day. But I've had a little edit of it, and I'm going to read you that now. There's a couple of moments where I just simply haven't bothered making up names of characters and places because they don't matter. So I'm just going to say town name. But before we do that, before we move on to chapter 1, as it were, let's have a little look at what's going on in the chat. Hello, Ziffy. Sloth King says, I'd listen to Dave read audiobooks. Haha, well, you can. If you want to go to inearaudio.com, I've got one book up there already, and there's another one coming. It's all recorded. It just needs... in fact, I think it's edited. It just needs to be approved by the author, and then we go ahead. And actually, in fact... Hang on, let me show you this. This is quite fun. I've shown this in a video before, but you might not have seen it. If you really want, you can get this edition of my audiobook that I did for In-Ear Entertainment. Crank Tech 1 Destruction by Colin R. Parsons, narrated by Dave Bulmer, and yes, it is on cassette, if that's how you like your audiobooks. Or is it? Because if we fiddle about down here, we find that actually it's a USB stick. That's fun, isn't it? So yeah, if you fancy that, you can have that, or if you just wanted MP3, you can have that. Oh, I'm really out of focus. Let me try and fix that. It's difficult to do because I have to do it physically. Because I've got a bad webcam, as anyone here can see. Really, really bad old webcam. But it's all I've got. No, I don't think it is even out of focus. I think it's just that low resolution. Oh, I know what the problem is as well. Whoop! I haven't lit the scene. Cameras need a bit of light to get their resolutions going, don't they? Yes, don't worry. Chapter 2 is impending. We'll have that in a moment. Alright, what else we got? Not Patreon exclusive yet, says Espresso. Not yet, and it will be in a few minutes. I'm going to be reading I'm going to be reading out what I wrote up till this point, and then I'm going to switch to Patreon exclusive, and I'll have to start another stream, and then it's just for my patrons. So if anyone wants to see me writing the next bit, then they can join that there. See that banner there? Patreon.com/Demon Tomato Dave. Don't worry, don't have to break the bank. Just pop a couple of quid down because today's stream will be available to all tiers. But while you're there, have a look at what my rewards are, because I think you're going to like quite a few of them. There's things like, there's a streaming tier, which in future might get some of these streams. If there's ones that where I'm really stuck and I don't want to stream that publicly, they'll go on the streamy tier. But the rest of the time, when it isn't November, people on the stream tier get to see me draw my comic and record my songs, my a cappella songs. I do that now. I do that over streams now. What else? And there's and of course the songs. If you go for it's a small one. I think it's the $5 tier. Then you get to download all my songs that I've put up there, which is you got the extended versions of Theme from the Dark World and my Sonic 2 song, plus some songs you've not heard before. Unless you've been to my live shows, but these aren't live recordings. They're like the studio recordings, as it were. My tumble dryer has just finished its cycle. Let me just go and fix that. Just cleaning the fluff filter. And since I'm on my feet, I think I'll heat my tea up. Okay, so if you're just joining me now, I'm about to read the chapter that half a bit of chapter that I wrote sort of at the end of yesterday and edited this morning. There we go. I've just sort of tweeted the link again. So, what else we got in the chat? Whoops. If Dave read my book live or recorded, I would faint. Well, you'd be right to, because I don't have a copy of it, at least not on me, that I'm aware of, and so it would be really weird if that happened. Actually, now that I say that, somebody did send me something, but I didn't have time to write it because I had to do something. Perhaps it was you. Can't remember. Anyway, sorry about that. How much do you have written total? Oh, hardly anything at all. Like, really, not like under 2,000 words. Barely anything. Hello, Dave. This will be a good stream to have playing while I prep the D&D campaign I'm running. Fun stuff, ghosts and that. Cool. Good. 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 8SF's Patreon just ran out yesterday. Oh yeah, sorry about that. That's what happens. That's what happens when a different month rolls around. So, not worth sticking around for long then, I guess. I mean, for those of us with no money and no Patreon account, well, you can stick around for as long as the video does. I'm going to read you another bit, and then the video will simply go away. Don't worry, there's not going to be a bit where, like, I make you... You can't accidentally pay money by watching this stream. 8SF, is there any chance you could DM me a link to the next stream? Because my Patreon thing ran out yesterday, but I can redo it later. Well, alright. Because I know you, and I know that you're good for your word and that. But in terms of precedent, no. I'm saying that so that other people don't think that they can ask for the same thing and go like, oh, I'll join the Patreon later. But I know you've had trouble with your account thingy, so fair enough, I suppose. Okay, right. Okay, so I think now I can get my tea and we can move on to Chapter 1. If you're just joining me because I tweeted the link out, I'm audiobook reading the thing that I'm writing for NaNoWriMo, and I'm about to do yesterday's little bit of chapter. So... Doodly-doodle-doo. Ooh, that's a bit too bright for the webcam. Let's turn that down a bit. And... oh wow, there's quite a delay on the stream. I'm looking at it now, and I'm only just coming back and sitting down with my cup of tea and saying, oh gosh, the lamp's a bit too bright for the... Anyway. So, Chapter 1 goes like this. Ready? Here we go. This is it now. I'm going to do another bit of audiobook. I'm going to put on a serious audiobook voice. Audiobook. Audiobook? Oh, do I think I'm going to do another song with Brent again sometime? Yes, absolutely. But neither of us knows when, because we haven't got any ideas at the moment. Well, we have. That's not strictly true. We've been throwing some ideas around, but they're not for the sort of thing you're thinking of. for instance, you probably didn't expect that Brent's next thing was going to be a video game. Well, our next thing together probably isn't going to be a YouTube video. It's not going to be a video game either. It might be, I suppose. Never know, because it's going to take us ages to do whatever it is. But you know, we haven't yet figured out the next just normal song that we might work on together. But we will. It will happen. I'm sure it'll happen. Okay, so chapter 1. There is no name for this chapter, and as I said before, there's a couple of names that I haven't put in place yet, so it's just going to say town name. And in fact, there's one bit in a moment where I need... perhaps you can help me. Anyone here know about species of bird? I've just realised I've not posted this in the Discord. Hang on a minute. Oh, Matt's already posted it. Jolly good. If anyone here knows about species of bird, please answer my question in the stream. Matt just posted. In fact, here it is again, but with @everyone attached. There we go. Okay, so species of bird. I am looking for a bird that flies with a sort of loopy sort of movement. Now, I realise there aren't going to be many birds that just loop around, but I know that there are some that kind of have a sort of skimming movement. And, mind you, I could invent a bird, couldn't I? It's a fantasy story. I can just come up with a kind of bird. Well, I'll think about that another time. But, if anyone here happens to know about bird species, then... Oh, we lost you, Dave. Did you? Am I back? The Juan Fernandez tit tyrant. Actual bird, but I suspect not what you're looking for. Okay, it is an actual bird. Why is it called a tit tyrant? I mean, I guess it's a tit, but why is it a tyrant? Well, anyway, maybe that may be the bird I'm looking for. I don't know. Woodstock has those physics. Yeah, he does. You're right. No, other Matt, I wasn't. Because you don't. Now you've said it, I can call you Matt. But because you don't have Matt in your name, I don't call you Matt on streams if I can avoid it. Just because you might be. You might not want to know. You might not want everyone to know your name's Matt. But clearly you don't mind today. Well, I know Falcor off Never-Ending Story. It's not. It's completely made up. It is an entirely made up place. But I don't mind putting in references to things that exist in the real world because... there might be translations, or I can just edit them out later on. Well, look, I'm going to say... because I can just make up a bird. Well, we'll sort that out later. Another thing to note is that there was a character called Brettel. This character, the name was just pulled out of the ether. I think I did a name generator. Didn't really quite sit with me because it sounds a bit like Brexit. So I'm going back to the first name that the generator spat out, which was Bodmin. But I don't know, that's a bit too famous a place, so I'm going to change his name again, but we'll go with that. So here we go then. Chapter 1. Draft 1. Straw leafed through some forms as she headed down the corridor, wondering at the handwriting that had filled them in. It was flawless, looping like a bird that flies smoothly. She knocked a few stray granules of apatite out of the way with her boot. They bounced across the floor, sparkling as they caught the light, and disappeared under the skirting board. Bodmin was waiting outside the interview room, looking like a stone block in a jacket. He inclined his head towards the door, silently telling her the room was occupied. "Should be fun," she said, keeping her voice low. "That's not all. The new kid's going to be sitting in with us. It'll be good for him to see the sort of thing we have to put up with." Straw looked along the corridor behind her. "Is he here?" "He's somewhere. Got in this morning and has been busy filling in forms ever since." "I've got them here. Look at his handwriting." "I know. It's just how they move. Come on, in here." He led her round the corner to the prep room, where a few old wonky chairs were wedged into the rare spaces between double-stacked filing cabinets. Bodmin closed the door behind them and leaned against the cabinet. "Now, I know this'll be a new experience for all of us. You sure you'll be all right?" She glared at him. "Of course I will. What makes you think... Have I ever done anything to make you believe otherwise?" No. He raised his hands in mock defense. "Just making sure you're ready, that's all. We don't want to give off the slightest impression of discomfort. They can see it a mile off." "Well, you'd imagine so." Straw didn't laugh. "So what's our angle with this one?" She waved her hand towards the door. "The suspect was a Miss Name." Because I don't need a name for this character at this stage, so I haven't come up with one. Actually, I do need one today for the next bit I'm going to be writing. I don't need one, but I've got to put a word in there because I'm going to say a name a few times. So I'll think about that later. But if anyone wants me to use your name for the temporary placeholder, then I'll be happy to do that. The suspect was a Miss Name, and she'd been caught sneaking about in one of the lesser-travelled spots in town. It had been Bodmin's idea a few years ago to pay unoccupied guards slightly more to seek out and patrol the hidden corners of Town Name than just to stand around idly. In theory, if you could catch a mage on their first examination of an area, you could have the whole case sorted out before the visions were even cast. In practice, the results were few and far between, but when it worked, it made it all worth it. No angle today. Just let it happen. I don't know if we're getting anything out of today, but I've got 2 todays there. So I'm going to change the first one to this time. No angle this time. Just let it happen. I don't know if we're getting anything out of it today, but keep trying. I'm afraid I've a personal interest in this one going as smoothly as it can. She shot him a look, but decided not to comment. There was a knock on the door. It lasted 1 knock too many. "Here we go," Bodmin said under his breath. Did I have under their breath before when she was first talking? I had keeping her voice low, and it's a bit one note, but whatever. "Here we go," Bodmin said under his breath. "Come in." Straw kept what she hoped was a welcoming smile on her face, but as the door opened, strangely slowly, she thought she felt the smile twitch slightly. He was tall. Now, straight away, I've just got he, and I feel like at this stage I'm starting to need to know what his name is, and I don't know what his name is, so we'll move on, but I'll sort it out another time. He was tall, straightening in the doorway to at least 3 inches taller than Straw, but so thin that it looked alarmingly disproportionate, as if half of him was liable to fold and topple over. His uniform appeared to fit, but the usual pattern had clearly required intensive alteration to make it that way, leaving irregular patches where the material had to be shifted around to have a hope of matching his shape. He held the door handle with fingers like spoonworms, and as he let go, they curled into a fist with an eerily smooth movement. But the main thing about him was the eyes. She couldn't even make a guess at how many there were. Bodmin held out a hand to shake, showing no apparent reaction to the unprecedented situation of an Elagast standing right there unescorted in his station. He had more experience with the race than any other human Straw was aware of, so perhaps the newcomer's appearance really was no surprise to him. "Good afternoon, Detective," he said. Said the new kid, waving the title away as if it was a silly dream. "I wish." And there we go. That's all I've got so far. And in a moment, I am going to write more. I'm going to do today's NaNoWriMo session. But when I do, I am going private stream for my Patreon people. So there, join it if you want to see me write the next bit. I can't promise, whether you'll see the next bit if you don't, because I'll be sometimes I'll be reading them out like I did just then, but not always. And it's nice to be part of the creative process. I've been a guest on ones of these before, done by Garrett Robinson, who I've mentioned in probably all the streams so far, because basically it was his vlog a novel channel and series that inspired me to do this. And it's just I just know that it's a nice experience. However, vlog a novel is free. You don't have to be his patron to watch that, so you may prefer to go over there and do that. But yeah, we're going to be carrying on this story in just a moment, and let's have a look what's in the chat first before we do that. The Dave Bulmer tea swallow. And then Matt says, why not just butt in bat? Hey? Put in bat. They fly like that. Yeah, go on. Why not? No, I'll tell you why. It's because people don't... The word bat is not... You're absolutely right that they're extremely elegant in flight and they never hit a single thing, but people don't think of them like that. They think of them as like flap, 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 So it does need to be a kind of bird that's small and gentle and loops and, I wonder, says Dresden, is our protagonist the only one left of her family? Could she in fact be the last straw? Quite like that. Interesting metaphor using the bird. If you make up a bird, you will need to bring it back and make it somewhat important to the story. Well, I wish I could tell you now. Wait until we get there. There is a bird that is important to this story. I challenge anyone here not to love it when it comes up. But I feel like then I don't want to make it that one, because then it's like I've just mentioned one kind of bird ever, Is there a stronger thing than a head desk? Says Stephen Belmont. What's that in reference to? And if you use a real but obscure bird, you should go into more detail about said bird at another point. Yes, quite. Miss Gossamer Come Gently, the town of Biggleswade. I like them both, but they're both too silly. I like Miss Noma, yes, of course. Miss Alice Cooper. Ian says, go for it. It'd be cool to have my name in a book. Well, I mean, I don't think it'll go in the book. It's just that... I just need a name for now so that I can write the next chapter, I believe if I... Yeah, here we are. So if I replace that with... Is it MAC or MC? It's MAC. And Miss... Is it McEwish? I'm saying McEwish. It's probably not that, is it? Is it McQuish? How do we pronounce that? Listen, it's been about sometime in the last 5 years was when I learned that MCCLEOD is McLeod. But to my credit, I figured it out by myself. I didn't have to be told. I was. It was. Oh, I know what. I can't remember his first name, but the McLeod that supplies the music for half of YouTube. That guy, the Incompetech. I remember looking at that spelt MacLeod, and for a while I was like, oh, his name's MacLeod, and then I went, it could be MacLeod, or it could be anything, MacLeod, and then I went, wait, is that like the Gaelic spelling of MacLeod? Because Scott McCloud, and from Understanding Comics. I knew that name. Is it? And then yeah, sure enough, Ryan McLeod. Turns out it is spelled pronounced that way. McCooish. So that's not far from what I was saying. I was saying McCooish. What else is going on in the flipping chat? I thought you said, or for a less human character, something random like Rent-A-Ghost. Got a first name for Straw? Actually, no. I haven't even got a second name for Straw. I'm going with Straw at the moment because she is from a sort of woodland people. Not elves. She's a human, but they've just lived in the woods for countless eons, and so they have names that are derived from, stuff like that. And Straw isn't really entirely one of those things, but it's just... it's a quite good name for a detective, to the extent that I think it's probably been taken. But I can't find an existing detective Straw. Let me do another Google search, because there must be one. Oh, by the way, I found out that Elagast, which if you were in the previous, if you were in the first one of these, then you might have seen me coming up with the name Elagast, which was done by looking up sort of Middle English words for outsider and alien, and kind of cutting bits out of one word and putting them onto another word and so on. So Elagast is the name I've come up with for this guy's species, and I'm happy with it because it's it's got elegant and it's got gast. So it's a great description of this guy. But it turns out, of course, as with anything else, it is from World of Warcraft. Literally everything I've ever come up with that's a fantasy-sounding name is in World of Warcraft somewhere. But it seems like it might just be a username that someone has, and it might be based on the fact that there's an Elagast stroke something in something. So that the person whose username it is didn't come up with it themselves. So we might be all right. Oh, I know. It's I know. I did find it out, and I just forgot this bit because I was worried that I'd nicked something from from someone's username, and it's like, well, that's not fair. I shouldn't use it. But I found out that they got it from a poem. It's like a classic. It's one of the classic poems, like one of the mythic epics, the Legend of Elagast or something. I don't know it myself personally, but so great. Fine. I'll for now I can work with it, and if it turns out I shouldn't use it, I'll change it. But for now, Elagast is good. Cornelia, perchance. Yeah, possible. Oh, here's Emelian. Hello, Emelian. You should all yell at me to sleep. All right. Sleep. Should that be a capital M on Miss? Yeah, all right then. I'll make it one. I'm not sure what the rules are in that particular case. If there is a town where everything is in ruins, oh, it's gone. If there is a town where everything is in ruins and broken, you should call it post-Brexit. Oh. Oh, right, I see. I got confused then, because I lost my place, scrolled up, and there's the same thing posted twice. Same guy. Kevin McLeod, that's the fella, yeah. But it's EOD, surely, not OED. Maybe it's OED. I always thought it was EOD. That looks more like Clued to me, as in Hello, Clued. Clued become a square Clued. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Phoebe, Martin, J, Robin, and Wren are all good names. Yes, they're delightful. Euphemia, Augusta, Kevin. I'm so sorry for World of Warcraft, says Emelian. Oh, it's alright, Em, I don't blame you. She says, I've never heard of anything called an Elagast. I spelt it with an H, but in the poem it's without an H. Wilfred Wolfstash, that's a good one. Yes, why not, Mr. Dr. Hornswoggle-Moon's thingy? Right, I think we're at the point now where we've all gone a bit silly, so now I'm going to go on with writing some more of this chapter, and I'm sorry, but that means we're now going patron only. So, oh, I can't point it anymore because I've changed where everything is. There, see that banner? Done by 8SF there. 8SF there. Banner there. That's where to go to see the next bit. I'm going to do it right now, immediately. So head over there, drop a couple of quid in the box. It doesn't matter what tier you go for today. Today's stream is going to be for everybody, just as long as they're one of my patrons. So what that means is that it's a minimum $1, and you get Mario Land without lyrics when you sign up. Yeah, you do. Yeah, there's been a certain amount of clamouring for that. People are still clamouring for it because they don't know. But yeah, you can get that. So do join in. And we shall continue. But if you're in the mood for something a little bit more robust to go in your patron rewards folder, then do have a look at my music tier, wherein you get a load of songs that I've uploaded, like the theme from the Dark World with all of its extra verses and all redone and fancy and special edition. Same goes for the Sonic 2 special edition song. It's not called special edition anymore. It's just a song. You know the one. The look at Tails in grayscale with his tiny mates, that one. Well, I've re-recorded it. It's all fancy sounding now. It's got lots of verses, and the new verses are all about sort of what it's like to have been a Sonic fan when Sonic was good. And what it remains like to be a Sonic fan now that it isn't. Although before I put it out for general release, I'm going to have to do something optimistic about whatchamacallit. What do you call it? Sonic. The one that's about to come out that's clearly going to be brilliant. Well, anyway, that's on there if you want to listen to that. Plus some songs that, unless you've been to my live show, you've never heard before, and there's going to be a few new ones in the next few days, so stick around for that. Okay, and then there's even higher tiers than that if you want really silly things, like more streams of this sort, but specifically, you know that I do a cappella songs, don't you? I'm sure that's what most of you know me for. Well, you can now watch me record them. Now, I don't do that any more often than I used to, but when I do, I stream it for my Patreon stream tier people, so you can watch me put songs together from scratch. And you can see how I do it and how it's all done. And also, you can watch me draw my comic, although I haven't done that in a while. I'll better do that soon. What else? And then right up at the top is the monthly hangout. And sometime after the 10th this month, sometime mid-month, we're doing a Google Hangout where we're just going to chat, and we talk about things on a Google Hangout, and I tell you about. I tend to read you things like stories that I wrote when I was 10 years old, things like that. That's what we did the first time, and it was a lot of fun. And then the second one, Brent was here, so he guested in the second one, and we played his game, Use Your Words. We all had a big online game of that. Laura Dale was in, helping to sort of. Well, she wasn't helping to run the game; she was just playing the game. But she plays it so well that it's like she's helping to run the game. And then the next one, I can't remember what we did in the next one. What did we do in the next one? Can't think. Anyway, so we'll see what we're doing in this month's. Right, anyway, so now I'm going to go and do some NaNoWriMing for a change. Let me just see what's going on in the chat, and then I'm going. Have we had all of this? I've read all of this, yes. Amelia needs to go to sleep. Good night. Kicking Ziffy out. Yep, sorry about that, Ziffy. Sorry about that, Stivius. Don't do anything optimistic about Sonic. What do you mean? Haven't you seen Sonic Mania? I know you're optimistic about Sonic Mania, but you don't want to look back on your optimism in song form if it turns out to be bae. If it turns out to be bad. See, I know. And that's why I have to edit the line that was originally in the song, which is, Lost World's looking really nice. Whatever that tier is, says Amelia, and I need it. What tier do you mean? I can't remember which one I was talking about. But hey, go and look on the Patreon. Patreon.com/Demon Tomato Dave. There it is in the banner one more time. And that's for those of you who have a little bit of spare change, because it really is incredibly cheap. Because, you know, I had to go along with the sort of tiers that other people do. So we're talking, I mean, my top tier is $15. And that's the Google Hangout bells and whistles one. Songs is, I think it's like $5 or something like that. Streams might be 10. It's really not a tremendous amount of money. So yeah, anyone who wants to see stuff from me that they don't get, go and have a little look. Brandon says, I'll always be cross. I lost to Laura Dale by such a few points. She was brilliant at it. Come on, Matt. Don't give Sonic more what? Don't give Sonic more what? Don't give Sonic more comics? I disagree. If anyone hasn't seen this comic, Sonic Mega Drive, right now, that is out now, go and get it. Wait. Am I allowed to have this yet? I was going to open it up and show you then. But don't give Sonic more 3 friends. Well, yeah, in the upcoming sort of big flagship Sonic game that they're doing, they are giving him another friend, and they announced it and they announced it as if it was a good thing that anyone would want. It isn't. But by the way, yeah, that comic, Sonic Mega Drive Next Level, it's by Tyson Hesse. Is it? That's his name, isn't it? Yep. And former alum of the Something Awful Sonic threads, Ian Flynn, please go and look at this comic in the shop. You will, and I didn't say buy it, did I? Because you will buy it. Go and look at it in a comic shop. You will buy it immediately. Tyson Hesse. In fact, Google it now. Tyson Hesse, TYSONHESSE, and I'll type it in the chat. In fact, no, I'll do it myself. TYSONHESSE, Sonic Mega Drive. Do a Google image search for that. I've done my own Google image search and I'm about to paste the link in the chat. Just look at how the greatest artist who has ever drawn Sonic has been discovered. Right? Just look at... No one in history has been as good at drawing Sonic as this man is. Click that. Check it out. Seriously. I mean it. I'm not mucking around here. This guy is amazing. Finally, I mean, look. My heart is with the classic Richard Elson STC, right? But now there's another one for me. Do you know what I mean? Now there's another Richard Elson. There's 2 people in the world who draw Sonic to my satisfaction. Oh, God, he's good. Oh. If only he'd been around in the STC days and we'd had Richard Elson and Tyson Hesse, but drawing the way Tyson draws now. Oh, my God, if we had Rich the way he draws now. Oh, my God. Ooh. Oh, I just imagine that comic. Oh, my God. Oh. Right, anyway. Yeah, so now, can I get it at Thought Bubble? Yeah, you probably can. I should imagine you probably can. Yes, you are, Sonner LP. Sorry about this. I'm about to... yeah, it's really like classic Sonic. Aeolian Brass. Yeah, sorry, Sonner LP. I'm about to go... I'm about to switch to patrons only. But if you don't want to join the Patreon, which you can do by going to the banner that is down there, and you'll, depending on how you sign up, you'll get songs, or, you might get streams of me drawing comics or making songs or what have you. But if you don't want to do that, you can just rewind and listen to me reading out what I've written so far, which is what today's thing was. This is not work. This is not NaNoWriMo, so I'm now going private. If you want to see the next part in which I write today's NaNoWriMings, then you need to go to my Patreon, and I'm about to post a link to it there. All right, So there'll be a couple of minutes changeover while I set up. So expect a little pause, and then then we'll have that. We'll have the next bit. So come and join me. It'll only cost you a couple of quid. I think the minimum of $1 people get today's stream, and a copy of Mario Land without lyrics for their pains. So that's what we'll do. See you there.